Hi everyone, good morning. It's Margaret Manning here with 60 and Me. Hope you're doing great this morning. Have a happy day. I am starting my day with a cup of tea. I'm doing something quite adventurous today. I'm trying something called Nettle Tea. Now, any of you who live in the UK for sure have come across the nettle plant. You don't want to go too close to it with bare skin because it can sting you, and it's really uncomfortable. But as a tea, it's apparently very, very good for you. So it was so funny. I was in a little health food store a couple of days ago, and of course I'm here in Switzerland, so the language is German. And I went up to the counter and said, "Do you have any nettle tea?" And she said, "Nettle tea?" I said, "Oh, sorry," in German. So I went on Siri on my phone and said, what is nettle in German? And it turns out to be Brennnessel. Brennnessel. So Brennnessel is the same as nettle tea, and it's a really cool plant. As I said, if you get stung by it, it's quite uncomfortable, but it's really one of those magic plants. If you look online for the benefits of nettle tea, you'll see it's good for digestion. It's an anti-immunity or a pro-immunity drink. It's great for the kidneys and digestion. It's also really good for allergies and skin inflammations. Well, according to the information online, of course, but it's a really interesting tea. It's kind of a greeny, very earthy tasting tea, and I love it. It's really good. Put a bit of honey in there this morning and enjoying my nettle tea. So I hope you've got a cup of tea or coffee too, your favorite, and let's have a chat about something that may be on the minds of a few of you. Now, this is a question that you may not want to be asked, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and that is, do you ever feel stressed? Yeah, okay. It's a kind of rhetorical question. We all feel stressed at times. There's something usually going on in our lives, either at a very obvious level or at a more subliminal, hidden level that is on our minds. And these things can cause physical symptoms before we even really accept that we are stressed. So for example, we may have increased blood pressure or headaches or body aches. And we think, oh, we're just tired, or, it's just something physical. But then when you think about it, is there something going on that's emotionally stressing you out, that's creating these physical symptoms? And so, we have a great blogger. Her name's Jessica Haig. She wrote an article called The 5 Undercover Sources for Stress. Things that you may not even be thinking about are causing your stress and causing those body manifestations of stress. As I mentioned earlier, this sort of, a high blood pressure and muscle tension and so on. Now, the first thing that she talks about is the fact that it can be a product or a source of clutter. Clutter in your home can actually indicate that you're feeling stressed about something, that you're just not in control of your physical environment, and that having a cluttered house, dishes in the sink not done, just not stacks of paper on your desk. I look at my desk. All those things can actually be an indication that you are secretly stressed. It's one of those things that physical items can actually represent the symbols of your grief or your sadness or your worry. So I think that's a really interesting. If you've got the bills stacked up in the corner there but can't face them, well, of course that's obviously creating stress about money and your financial situation. So I think that's a really useful way of looking at one undercover indication that you're feeling stressed and just having clutter. I would also, in that category, put shopping, things that you buy. And I think sometimes we buy things to make us feel better and to overcome something that we're stressed about. So if you've got a room that's full of little bags and things that you've purchased and maybe you don't even really need, that may be just a sign that you're stressed. And we can talk about in a minute what we can do about it. But these are just kind of the things to look for that might be on your mind. Another thing that might be bothering you is recovery from an illness. And a lot of times or in my case, like jet lag. I mean, if you come back from a trip and you're jet lagged, you sometimes think, oh, it's just my physical body, but sometimes you're holding on to some stress that is being manifest, through a slower recovery from illness than usual. We have one of our bloggers, Lisa Dunkel. Hi, Lisa, if you're watching. Just had a hip replacement, and she's going to write about it for 60andMe. But, she's got a super positive attitude. But it's those types of, of operations and treatments and recoveries that can really create havoc with your body and really then create tension and a stress that takes a little longer than perhaps it should to get better. So I think that's really important. The next one that Jessica mentions is social media. This is a really, I think, interesting one. Now, there are some women in our community who don't like social media. They don't like participating on Facebook. And and maybe they know something. Maybe that's for them a stress point that they don't want to deal with. And I think that the Facebook phenomenon of constant liking and sharing and commenting can make you feel very insecure if you're not in a good space for whatever reason. Now, this Facebook envy is really a big deal. I mean, if you're feeling stressed about your financial situation and all you hear about people talking about on Facebook is, buy this or did this trip or bought this new thing, this new toy, this new car, this new house, it's really stressful. And that can be an underlying cause of your stress, to feel that kind of social competition. So that's another one. That's a third one. The next thing that she talks about, which I thought was really, really interesting, is that sometimes we pick up other people's stress. We can say to ourselves, okay, we've got a great relationship with our partner or, our husband or our children. Everything's great. You're just talking to them regularly. They're telling you what's going on. There's no secrets. It all feels open and fun and light. But then you've got this kind of, something's going on in their life that's causing them stress. They're not that they're hiding it from you, but it's their life. They're living through their issues and their challenges. But sometimes us older women take on all the pressures and the stress of our kids, our friends, our partners, and we don't show it, but it's an underlying cause of our own stress. So I think that's a very wise one for Jessica to have mentioned. The final one, the fifth one, is digital devices. Now, digital devices are our friend. They're the access to all kinds of wonderful information and data. They help us to break through and get information and facts on things that are troubling us. But they, at the same time, can be causing you stress physically. Now, we've talked about this before, and it's true that when you go to bed at night, is the last thing you do check your email? Or on your iPad, check your email or check your Facebook? Well, this, we all know does, well, we should know, impacts our sleep. I mean, there have been some research studies that have shown the lights actually on your phone and your iPads and computers actually do prevent your body from producing melatonin, which is the little chemical hormone that you need for sleep. So sometimes, it's just simply turning them off. But the other thing is, of course, checking news stories. The world is in such chaos these days. Just stresses you a little bit unconsciously, and you go to sleep with a bit of tension, and that doesn't help you to sleep a nice, long, deep sleep. So I think that's another really interesting way to look at stress. So we've got all kinds of hidden ways that stress might be affecting us. And I guess the question is, so what do we do? What do we do about it? Well, of course, one thing we should know for sure is that it affects our health. That stress is very, very harmful to the body. It produces cortisol and other hormones that really prevent the rest of the body from doing what they're supposed to do. Like burning fat, your digestion, all those things. So I guess one thing you can do is to be proactive in recognizing, the sources of this stress and then doing something about it. Like turn off the computer at night a little early. Don't check your mail when you go to sleep. Don't worry about other people's issues. I mean, of course, if there's something really significant going on, yes, absolutely get involved. But try not to take on the worries of the world. And also the other things we talked about in terms of if you're getting over an illness, just chill about it and know it may take some time. Don't be so hard on yourself. So that's the first thing, just watch, be tuned into your body. The next thing is to refocus your thoughts. I love this idea because it's so true that when you're doing something else for other people, or you're doing something in your community, or just a good thing for yourself, something creative, something fun, it takes your mind off of stress. If you have a meditation practice, that's really helpful. And also if you can do exercise, just refocus your attention on something that takes your mind off of the worries. There's a little technique that somebody told me about. I think I read about it actually, where it says put a box under your bed. And when you have a worry that comes into your mind, a stress, just say, sorry, I'll give it a name. Sorry, Phoebe, I'm not going to deal with you today. Just put it in, you're going in the box. And tomorrow when I'm going to give you an hour of just thinking about stuff, and I'm going to pull you out then with all the other things on my mind. and then, focus your attention then on fun things that you love to do. Knitting, do some yoga. Do some coloring. Lots of women like coloring. And another thing, of course, is to practice self-care. And this is a fundamental. It's just to love yourself. Buy something to treat yourself, even if it's just a little, face mask, or a little bit of oil, or something that smells beautiful, something that engages the senses and just makes you feel good, just revitalized. It's another idea. Of course, if you've got a stress that's really creating a lot of anxiety, then get help. Get some help. Either ask friends for help. Some of your girlfriends might be willing to listen and just give you a whole new perspective, or seek help from counseling. Just don't let these things go on until they physically affect you. And then finally, the back to the tidy up, the clutter. Just make the effort to keep your space clear. Now, if you are like me, I stack papers everywhere, and there's a logic to my stacking. I physically like to see things. I don't know about you, but I'm okay on the computer, of course. I love everything digital. But I also, for example, when I'm doing these talks, I have everything on paper. I just have little notes. And I just like the touch and the feel of paper. So, if you're going to tidy up, just do it because it's a symbol of clutter and lack of control in your life. So if you unravel all those, maybe you're going to find the sources for some of your anxiety and stress. Hope it's been helpful. This is what we're here for actually as a group. I mean, please leave your comments in the section below, like you do. You always do. I love it. You talk to each other, you share thoughts, you encourage each other. It's really rewarding to watch it, and I'm so proud of all of you for just being so, respectful too. I know we sometimes have differences of opinion, and if you don't have anything really, reasonably positive to say about a topic, then just feel free not to comment, because I'm trying to keep this whole community, just kind. That's my basic premise. Just be kind. So get rid of that stress. That's important. And my question, which I do have for you today, is just very simply, what are the sources of stress in your life? And what are you doing about it? Hope that you have a great day, everybody. Take good care of yourself. Just avoid the stress if you can, and dig deep if you need to. And we'll see you all back here really soon. Take very good care. Bye-bye for now.